All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our new Grantee Staff Transition Committee meeting today. This is a combined meeting for us because the month of November, we were scheduled to meet on Thanksgiving, and I don't know about you guys, but I was way too busy eating pumpkin pie to think about new Grantee Staff Transition Committee at that point. And then, of course, with the Christmas holiday being in December and other holidays, Hanukkah and so on and so forth, we decided to do a combined call today. So that's why we are now meeting on December 2nd. So thanks for being flexible with that. As always, if you wouldn't mind, please dropping into the chat your name and site. This is the way that we'll kind of confirm attendance, so to speak. And we have a guest with us today. Tim Glenn is with the Iowa Department of Education, and I'll let him more formally introduce himself in just a moment because he's got some titles and such that I'm not always fully aware of. But today's lesson is going to be talking about APR data entry. This is a really good way to ask all of your APR questions. If we don't know, we'll absolutely find out those answers for you. The nice thing is that we have some people on this call today who have some experience with the APR and maybe those with a little less experience with the APR. So this is just a really good way and a comfortable way for you to ask and answer the questions. So with that being said, I am going to turn it over to Tim. Thank you.
Thanks, Crystal. My name is Tim Glenn. I work at the Department of Education. I've been helping Vic with the data for 5 or 6 years, I think. So, and this, you guys are kind of in we're in a transition stage with our data collection as far as, and I know that some of you've been going to the meeting, so you know there's new GIPRA measures and there's different things that we're going to be collecting next year. But what I'm going to go through today is the 21 APR data collection system as it is currently. So we will, I know 21 APR is making updates and changes, and if anything changes in the spring, then we'll have another get together and we'll point out the differences and the changes then. So if you have any questions during while I'm talking, don't hesitate, just unmute and ask the question. And same with Vic and Crystal, if you have any comments, I'm glad to hear them. So I have a PowerPoint that I'm going to share about, and we're going to go through the, like I said, the system as it is. Okay, so the one thing about this data system, and it is fairly intuitive. It's been a good system. We've had others that weren't quite so intuitive, but the main thing is it's just a collection for our data. So you're telling the story what you've done all year. So really, data collection is a day by day, week by week. It goes on continually. So when you collect the data for your program and you have it, then it's easy to put it in, or it's much easier to put it into 21 APR and report it that way, rather than trying to, at the end of the reporting year, you just try and get all your records together. So really, the Alliance has done a really good job of creating some PowerPoints that help with the data collection, and we'll be looking at those today. So it's really, you guys do such a great job. This is such a great program. And the way you tell your story is with the data. So it's just better for everybody to collect data throughout the year and then report it at the reporting period. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So what does my data do? Now the new grantees, as you know, you will not report data for the first year. It's always lags a year behind. So if you had a summer program this year in 2021, then you won't report on that until 2022. Now, in the past, we've had summer reporting periods and then a spring and a fall reporting period. So that's what we have now. Now, I believe with the new GIPRA measures, we're going to 2 reporting periods, the summer reporting period and then the school year reporting period. So it won't be quite as onerous to have, you won't be adding data to the system as often. You'll just be doing it for once for the school year. So that's good in that you won't have to go ahead and re-enter data, enter data period. But it's important that you keep a record throughout the year of that data so that at the end of the year, you will have it. So 21 APR has not released the dates of the reporting windows yet. They usually have a reporting window that's 30 days in length for a summer reporting period, and then they close that, and then they'll open it for the spring, and they'll close that, and then they'll open it for the fall. But we don't expect to get those dates until early in 2022. So the annual performance report is required by the federal government. And like I said, this is where we get to tell our story. This is where Congress and others that read the reports are able to see our data. So this is where you put in the good news. So I have here data is input. I don't think inputted is a word. Input 3 times a year, but like I say, we're going to 2 times a year for next year. When you log in, 21 APR has a strict 60-day password. So you'll be asked every 60 days to change your password. And that's a fairly easy task. You'll get a message when you sign in that it's been 60 days and that you need to get a new password. They also have a rules of behavior screen, and they ask you to accept the rules of behavior once every year. So you'll just read through that, and it's really just, if you have any questions, once you read through what the rules of behavior, you can contact Crystal or Vic or I, and we can help you through them. But it's really just their rules for being able to enter data in 21 APR. So to create an account, when you are a new grantee, you will be put into the system. The contact person will be put into the 21 APR system, and you will receive a password and login information that you can use to sign in and enter your data or look at your data. If you ever have, and we'll talk about this password reset, but I am responsible for setting passwords. So, when you only use your password once or twice a year, it's not hard to misplace that information. So if you need a password reset, I will show you one link in the system, and then you can always get a hold of me and I can reset your password for you. Like I said, the After School Alliance has put together some spreadsheets that really is good and helping collect data throughout the year. And this link will get you to that website. So like I said, we recommend to update the information on a regular basis, monthly, quarterly, whatever works best for you, but it will definitely be to your advantage to collect data throughout the year rather than waiting until the end of the reporting period. I've tried to match up some of these slides examples with the template so you can see what they look like. I know a lot of grantees have their own way that they collect data. So this spreadsheet is not a requirement. It's just something helpful that may help you in collecting your data. So however, whatever works best for everybody. And we'll also talk about how to access technical assistance from the website, and then how to print your data. So like I said, you'll get a password before summer. If you need the new login credentials, you can contact me, tim.glenn@iowa.gov. And if you, like I said, if you get your password, there's a link on the sign-in web page. So let's go ahead, and this is the address for 21 APR. So it will ask you to accept, so you have to hit the accept button before you can even log in. So here I've circled where you forgot your password. This is one way that in the system that you will be able to get your password reset. Again, if you have issues with that, you can email me, and I try to get on those right away, because I know when you're in their system, you're ready to work, you're ready to enter data. So I don't want to hold you up. So I do my best on getting people their password reset and in a timely manner. Am I going too fast? Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so this is the dashboard that we get once we sign into the system. And right now there's a system update that they are having an issue with some data for the current collection years. So I don't know if anybody is currently, anybody that's on the webinar, if you are currently putting data in 21 APR and you are having problems, they are having a systems problem at 21 APR. So if you run into trouble, just give Vic or Crystal or I a call, and we can get a hold of 21 APR and see what their solutions are. So here, one thing is that I know that I have a different login than you do. So this is the screen that I see. These are the tiles that I see. And first I want to go to the help. So I've got a support. It's circled on the need help tile. So if you click that, it'll take you to this screen. And this screen has other tiles. You can go to the help desk. You can go to the FAQs. They have a very good FAQs section if you have time to go ahead and read about it. But there's a lot of different questions, maybe some of the ones that you have that might have already been answered. But here I've circled the quick guides because they are really very informative, very brief and to the point, and I find them really helpful when I was first learning this system. So once you hit the view quick guides button there, you will get the menu here for all the different quick guides. So like we got one for getting started, navigation basics. As we go down, when you're entering data, we got activities. So it helps you, shows you how to enter your activities, your staffing, your participation. So these are really, really good guides. And not every guide, I think, on every website is all that helpful, but I think they did a good job with their guides. So I just wanted to pull one out here. Looks like Quick Guide 5. This is an example of how you add activities. So you're looking to add activities. You go and you click your center, and then it'll show you have an enter APR data. You click the activities. Now I'm going to go scroll down to the bottom of this quick guide, and there it'll show you. Once you, when you're clicking activities, if you add academics, no, this looks like STEM. So we click that we have STEM, and it's going to STEM programming, and you will be presented with these drop downs. Is this more than once a week? Is it once a week? How many times a week? About how many average? So your data is right there in the drop downs. So And that's indicative of the system. They do a lot of where you select the data that you have, and then it'll give you the data entry. It won't give you all of the data entry for a bunch of fields that you don't even won't even bother with. So they did a good job of streamlining, I think. And then at the end of this quick guide, it says continue to staffing. So that'll just show you once you go to activities, then you go to your staffing. So adding or updating centers. The center is where the data is entered, and we try and set up all of the centers before the new grantees even get in. So we have your, you may have like 3 different elementary schools that you're reporting data on under one grant. So each center will have its own data. It will have its own activities data, its own staffing data, participation information, and then assessment or outcome data. So again, this is my screen. So what I see when I have data to report, this is the tile I get. So when I click on the have data to report, it'll take me to my centers. So here we got an example, and we got 1, 2, 3 different centers. Now we had a COVID impact statement in 2019. I don't believe it may still be there. So if COVID has affected your programming, you have an opportunity to make a statement on that impact. So as we go down the screen, this is where your centers are. So like I said, this grantee had 3 centers. And this is the picture I got right now. It looks like it's for the fall reporting period, because it is the only one that looks, the summer and the spring is grayed out. So only fall is the only available period we have. 21 APR does a good job. You report data for a period, it closes, and then you begin reporting for the next period. So that's why we have these different periods. So in active terms, so let's just say, and we had this with COVID quite a bit, for the summer maybe, somebody had an inactive, they didn't have their summer program because of COVID. Well, if this was a summer reporting period, you would be able to check this summer right here. And then you would get some comment boxes under that, and you will pick, what was closed due to COVID-19 or something like that, whatever. There's other reasons to have inactive periods. Maybe the funding has already been used. So, but mostly you will come to this screen to enter the data. So like I say, with East Elementary here, I've circled to enter the data. And once you hit enter data, this is the information that we try and put in before you even are able to log in. So once you can go to this, and the contact information, this is the address of the center, contact information, and the grantee type. So if you see anything, you are more than you're more than able to edit and correct anything that is wrong on this information sheet. So after that, then we begin to enter the data. So here is where I am going to this East Elementary School. Here are the different sections that we will be entering data. These are the ones that you will collect the data throughout the year and report during your reporting period. So the very first section is activities. So when we click on activities, we see how many times per STEM, because I clicked on STEM. So it gave me this drop down. Here is how many times per literacy, tutoring, homework, health. So there's other things that you can click on of the different activities that you had. Oops, I'm sorry. So this is like how many times per term is youth leadership. So we clicked on that and then it expanded to these boxes. And this is the data you'll put in once a month, how many times, or it'll say more than once a month, once a week, and then these will adjust to your entry. So how many times a month did they supply that training? How many hours per session? The average participants. And then is also we have, is this a youth leadership? Is it college and career ready, which is right down here. So these are the activities that your center provides during the reporting period. And right here, then once you get the activities in, then we'll go to staffing, and this blue bar shows you continue to staffing. Now these two buttons here, you can look at your previous data here. So if you have any questions, if you're filling this out and you're like, well, what did we do last year? What did we report last term? And this will give you a good readout of your last year, of your previous term's data. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to staffing. So this will be the second. No, first I'm going to show you the Excel spreadsheet. And here is the website that this spreadsheet can be found at. And as you can see, we have STEM literacy. These are all of the categories that are in the 21 APR system. And like we saw when we select, such as select STEM, it asks us how many times. I'm not sure what. And how many times and you will put how many times a week, a month, and then the average hours, the average participant. So it's really, it's the exact same data that the 21 APR asks for. So if you can keep this up to date, and this is your spreadsheet, you can, if you have STEM, if you want to add, a couple of different, if you want to add, maybe you do it 3 times, maybe you collect data every month. So let's just say that you'll have STEM. I'm sorry. So you'll have STEM. You can make several lines of this STEM, and then how many times. And then all your data will be there for the year, so that when you go to the end of the year, all your data is there and you can enter that without having to go check all your different records. So here is our staffing, and it is the same exact type where it lists the different types of staffing: administrators, college students, community members. And then you choose by selecting and putting the check marks in which staffing you had, and then it will pop up the number of paid and the number of volunteers. As we see community members, 21 APR has a pretty good help system throughout their screens. If you see a question mark, like what are community members, you can click on that, and it'll give you an explanation, and it should help you with deciding, well, are they community members? Are they parents? Are they other non-teaching staff? So this is the staffing. So we will go from next, then it takes you to participation. Now, again, you can look at your previous terms, your reporting terms data as well, if you'd like to. So here is the data collection for staffing. Again, It was just like just what 821 APR is calling for. You have your administrators. So your site one, center one, same thing. How many paid staff, how many unpaid administrators, how many paid college kids, how many unpaid college kids. So that is your staffing. So your participation data. Currently, 21 APR has broken down. We've always broken down our APR by regular attendees, and that's the students. And the students that we reported on had to be there for 30 days or more. And then those students were broken into 3 categories: 30 days to 59 days, 60 days to 89, and then over 90 days. Now, 21 APR is making a change. So this is kind of a gray area right now, because I think that we're reporting on all kids for next year. But like I said, once we have, get the data all the facts from 21 APR, then we'll know for sure, and we will be able to update you on that. So, but for right now, the way the system is, we collect the data by regular attendee status. So here is the participation. So this is our kids, and this is by reporting period. And like I said, it'll be a couple, it'll only be 2 next year. So, but here it's the same idea. How many pre-kindergarten kids did you have? How many kindergartners? And it looks like this reporting period, they had 8th, 7th, and 9th graders. No, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, I'm sorry, for a total of 265 kids. So that is the numbers. Then they're going to be asking for different. Here are the, and again, I'm just going to, this is the attendance, the regular attendance. I'm not sure that this will be next year, so I'm not going to really talk about it, but there will be race and ethnicity. We will be collecting that on our students, and it's by these categories. I know we have different categories for different data collections, but these are the race and ethnicity categories we're using. And you click on the different race and ethnicity student of the students that you have, and then it'll pop up a box and you put in the number of students. So this, like here, down here, remember when we put in our students, we had 265. Well, this is a check to show us that we had, when we filled out our race and ethnicity, we had 265 out of the 265. So our numbers match. So if you didn't have, if you didn't have data for 4 or 5 people, you would check this, how many data is not provided. And so we should be able to reach the number, just make sure that the number that you reported and the number of race and ethnicity is the same. And below that is the gender as well. So we got 265 out of 265 here. So that's a good check to make sure that you have all your data. So that we reported a certain number, and now we've reported the race and ethnicity and their gender. And then here are some population specifics. Now, this one does not have, the 265 out of 265, because we don't expect these, it's not going to be a one-to-one match. So if you have students with limited data, limited English proficiency, you will click that and add your number. Students who are eligible for free and reduced lunch, 100. So that's just some demographic information that we use to report to Congress. But like I said, it will not be a one-to-one match like it was earlier. So again, once you're done with the participation, then we'll go to outcomes. And you can look at your participation data from previous reporting periods from this screen. So here is the Excel spreadsheet that is been developed. So here we have our 30 days because this is how we do it now. Now we're not sure about next year. But here's your gender and here's your site 1, site 2. So that would be your centers, your race and ethnicity, and then the attendance. So you have all your data here. And if you keep up and collect throughout the year, then it will be much easier to report. Okay, so the assessment and the outcome data is where we show our improvements made. Now we've had some issues with the COVID pandemic, and because we get our assessment data by comparing our kids' most recent, it used to be Iowa Basic Skills, now it's the ISASS, but it's the assessment, it's the statewide assessment. So we report that from the current year and we look at the previous year for our students and we see had they made progress or not. So this is just a quick guide for the outcomes. I just wanted to show here real quick. Again, so see, here is our 30 to 59 days, and how many kids do we have? Now we will know before you start entering data what the new requirements are for 21 APR. So, but we just wanted to show you as the system is now, and this is how we are entering, because we're like I said at the beginning, our data is a year behind. So right now we have people entering data for spring of 2021. So, not sure where I was going with that one, but I apologize. Okay, so, and here is the data collection template that the Alliance has worked on. Again, we have the number of participants reporting, and then in 21 APR, they are asked, did they make an improvement over the year? How many of your kids stayed the same? How many of them made an improvement, and how many of them maybe fell back a little bit? So the 3 methods that we use for the outcomes, one, like I've been talking about, is the state assessment. We just compare the 2 years of data to each other to see, did the student make growth? Another one is a teacher survey, and the Alliance has lots of information about teacher surveys. And this is a really good way, especially because the younger students don't take the ISASS, so they won't have state assessment records that you can look at. So teachers reports, teacher surveys, and I know that Crystal and the Alliance and Vic, they talk about these throughout the year. So they are the experts for the teacher survey. And I just know that some of the guidelines that I've heard before is when you get a teacher survey, you want to get it to them early, the teachers early, because so that they can collect the data as well throughout the year, rather than just have to come up with it all at the end. So I've also heard chocolate is a good
good motivator.
Yes, exactly.
Tim, pardon the interruption, but I do want to let everybody on the call know today that we will send a reminder to you when those surveys are going to be due, so that you can give your staff plenty of leeway. Also wanted to, excuse me, also wanted to mention that the evaluation committee is going to be reviewing that teacher survey and how it might be changing moving forward as well. So more to come on that.
Great. Thank you, Crystal. The Alliance does a great job of supporting the program, and they do so much help, and they are so helpful. So as grantees, don't hesitate to reach out to them. They're a great group of people. So I just wanted to show you how you can print your reports, print your data. And this is the quick guide for reporting. So everybody should have this ability to print their reports. So this is the tile that is on the very beginning dashboard. What you want to print your records. So it just shows you, you'll hit this little print records button. It'll ask you, are you sure you want to do that? And then it'll give you your data here. So I think that I had 131 school districts, so mine looks like a statewide report rather than for just the center. But you will get your center data. You will get your, well, you'll get your grantee data. And here, number 4, you can select the term. So you can, like I said, right now we have summer, fall, and spring. I believe in the future we'll have school year and summer. So that will be how you print your data. And then, I'm sorry, this didn't print out very well, but this shows you, this is just the activities that I printed out, and it shows you STEM. And I got a bunch of zeros here, so I must not have clicked on an active report, but it does a good job of giving you all your data back that you have put in. Okay, well, that is my presentation on the data system. I know it was quick, and I know it was new. This is they've done a good job about making it intuitive. And with those quick guides, I personally think it's a big improvement over the system we had before. So the main thing is collecting data throughout the year, have it ready for your reporting year. And I don't think you'll have any issues with data reporting. But you can always call me. There's my there's my email. You can always shoot me an email, and Vic and Crystal as well. They are the content experts, that's for sure. So
yeah, thanks so much, Tim. Really appreciate you joining the call today. Let's open it up for questions.
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone to make sure you get your APR data in. The closing is going to be the 14th, really, because I have to submit it on the 15th. And currently we're at 23%. So that means a lot of you haven't got your data in yet. And you want to get that in because this data has been what's kept this program going. Even though they tried a couple of times to cut it, when Congress saw the data from this system, they said no, and they've kept this program going, and that's a great thing for us. So make sure you get your data in. Last reporting period, we made 100%. We want to keep doing that because it's so important for us to inform Congress about what we do to help kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as a reminder, the data that you're submitting by December 14th will be from spring of 2021. So keep that in mind, that again, you're always reporting, excuse me, you're always reporting just a little bit behind. All right. What other questions do we have for Tim and or Vic today? Okay. So I've made this offer before. I'll make it again. As a former project manager for a 21st century grant, boy, that APR system gets a little tricky sometimes. So if I can be of assistance to you in any way, shape, or form, happy to do that. If that means hopping on a Zoom call with you or something like that, I'm more than willing to do that. I also want to make the same offer on behalf of Vic. Granted, times are a little bit different now, but when I first started at my program site, I actually went to Des Moines, sat in the cube with Vic and went through that. We don't really do that now, but I'm sure he would hop on a Zoom call with you too if his schedule allows.
Yeah, of course, we could set up a time if you need help. You know, we're happy to help, and not only myself, but also Tim. We're here to make sure that you succeed. So if you have issues, just let us know.
Yeah. And if I could give one more piece of advice, when your password expires, there's just that little momentary feeling of panic that hits your chest because it's like, I need to do this now, you know? So I found that setting myself reminders or making little calendar notations really helped with that to make sure that I hopped in, changed my password before it became a problem. Tim is very responsive, but in the off chance that you're going to catch him on a day that he's not in the office or that he's tied up in meetings or something like that, it was just always kind of a nice reminder. So, Vic, do you want to say something?
I want to thank everyone for attending this meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, folks, we want to wish you well. Have a great Christmas if we don't see you before. I know we'll see several of you before, but hope you have a relaxing holiday time. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and stop the recording. We will post this to the website. It won't happen until early next week though. So just so everybody's aware of that.